सर कैसे ना क्या करते ना हाँ का चालू ना
बहुत अच्छा मौका से
कर रहा हूँ
टाइट
अरे टाइम नहीं होगा ये दाबले के लिए हाँ इसलिए तो मैं अपने कस्टमर चालू
जवळपास आपला नंबर से
अरे मग 2.75 नंबर होता तरी 2.0 काढले ना
कमी केलाय नंबर
त्यांनी कमी केला नंबर
ना असं नको वापरतो नंबर किती
95167
माझा आपका नंबर माझा नंबर कसा
दोन्ही यूपीआय पण 2.75 च्या वर आहे लोक करतात
माझा असतं डिजिटल नंबर
हॅलो कॉलेज मध्ये कॉलेज सर नाही आहेत सर नाही आहेत एक मिनिट ऐक ना थोड्या फोन का मीटिंग मध्ये आवाज ओके आहे तर काय 5 मिनिटाचं काम आहे जास्त वेळ पण नाही
आवाज कुठं मोठा आहे
Hello friends, today we are going to discuss here unit number 7, that is service process here. Here in this unit you will find that there are some introduction here. The process design defects and procedure and mechanisms involved in delivering the services. It also detects how these will interact with other resources such as materials and equipments also. And designing, implementing, and later managing a service process is complicated because variability in the process from one type of functions to other. And this in order to deal with the service process actually classified on the basis of the degree of customization and labor intensity here. That is Russell and Taylor in 2009, he said. The degree of customization means the involving customer in service designs and the delivery. With the labor intensity means involvement of service provider in the services also designs and delivery here. The classification is applied to the service process matrix here. It is said by Roger in 1986 here. There are some unit objectives. There are two unit objectives here to know about the service process. That means what is service process, meaning of service process, learn about the service. The third objective is that it to learn how create customers experience and understand the nature of service process here. Here the you will find that figure is here. The service process matrix adapted from Roger 1. A service process matrix is adapted from Merriger 1986. The service process is represented here in this figure 1. And you will find that there is the service process matrix is a classification of matrix of service industry firm based on the characteristics of the individual firm's process here. The matrix was derived by Roger Scammer in 1986. Then when investigating the strategic changes and service operations are here. In addition to these, there are unique managerial challenges associated with each quadrant of the matrix here. By paying close attention to the challenges associated with their related classification, service firms may improve their performance also. The classification of characteristics include the degree of labor intensity and jointly measure the degree of customers interaction and customization here. Labor intensity can be defined as the ratio of labor cost to plant and equipment. A firm whose product, or in this case, service requires a high content of time and effort with comparatively little plant and equipment cost would be said to be labor intense here. The customer's interaction represent the degree to which the customers can intervene in the service of process. For example, at a higher degree of interaction would imply that the customer can demand more or less of the some aspects of the service. Customization refers to the need of the ability and to alter here the service in order to satisfy the individual customer's particular preferences also here. The vertical axis on the matrix as shown in figure number 2 is a continuum with the high degree of labor intensity on one end, that is bottom, and low degree of labor intensity on the other end, that is top here. The horizontal axis is a continuum with the high degree of customers interaction and customization on one end, that is the right side, and low degree of customers interaction and customization on the other end, that is left side. This results in matrix with the four quadrant, each with the unique combination of degree of labor intensity, customers interaction, and customization here. Here, the upper left quadrant contains firms with the low degree of labor intensity and a low degree of interaction and customization here. This quadrant is labeled as the service factory here. Low labor intensity and little or no customer interaction and customization makes the quadrant similar to the lower right area and of the product process matrix where a repetitive assembly and continuous flow process are located, and this allows service firms in this quadrant to operate in a fashion similar to the factories. Hence, the title service factory is there. These firms can take advantage of economies of scale and may employ less expensive, unskilled workers, as do most factories also here. Firms classified here services, factories, and includes truck lines and hotels and motels and airlines also here. Here, the upper right quadrant contains firms with the low degree of labor intensity by high degree of interaction and customization. The upper right quadrant is labeled as service shop, hospitals, auto repair shops. Then many restaurants are found in this quadrant here. The lower left quadrant contains firms with a high degree of labor intensity but a low degree of interaction and customization. This quadrant is labeled as mass service here. Mass service providers include retails and wholesale firms and schools, etc. Finally, the lower right quadrant contains the firms with a high degree of labor intensity and a high degree of interactions and customization here. The lower right quadrant is labeled as professional service, and this quadrant is similar to the upper left section of the product process matrix where job shops and batch process are found. Doctors, lawyers, accountants, architects, and investment bankers are typical service providers that tend to be labor intense and have high degree of customers interaction and customization here. This service process matrix is represented an example from figure number 7.2 is given here. Next point is that is creating customers experience here. When a customer enters into the bank, it ambience, supporting staff and hospitality, designing, dressing style, executives, temperature, queue length, and whether together create a customer experience here. It just is not the presence of these elements that create experience, but synthesize synchronized here interplay of these elements that are creating such experience, which is called a process here. Some of these processes may happen in front of the customers, while some may happen in back office also. Here in figure number 3 depicts the simplified service process adopted from Johnson and Clark 2008. It can be seen from the figure that the sum of the service process in banking happen at front office, while some happen at back office also. Here in front of these customers is directly the process, while the back office information processing, here staff functions, material movement, and then process of customers input may take place. So basically, from this discussion, it can be concluded that the service process can be divided into front office and back office process also. Here is figure number 7, simplified service process here. Here, check your progress here. Front office process here. This process deals directly with the customers. It might involve personal, often one-to-one interaction of service representatives with customers also. Or it may be technological interface like chatting on web, telephonic conversion, teleconference, etc. In this process, a customer has to be treated as an operational resource as they fulfill many role of the process themselves and collecting materials and passes information, etc. For some process of the customer's investment is indispensable, for example, consultancy projects until the client customer tells their problems, consultants, he cannot suggest the possible solutions. Similarly, in a call center, until customer will not ask queries, the customer care representative will not be able to suggest answer to the same here. One of the major challenges here is that is of operations of the front office operations here, deployment of table personnel and environment where customer gains the experience here. If the personnel with whom the customer is dealing is not polite, humble, and patient, must have possessed the good communication skills, there are high chances of customers may return with not so good experience also. Most of the offices have well-defined standard procedure for dealing with the customers. For example, here a call center inquiry process, banks, restaurants, while on the contrary, some may have high degree of variability like consultancy project, lawyer services, etc. Here, however, now the trend is to move back office process to front office. That is, get most of the work done by customers itself here. Some of the examples are included here: e-ticketing in Indian Railways and Airlines, internal banking, then internet banking, commodity bill payment, then ordering LPG cylinder, etc. In such situation, the need of physical infrastructure and personnel is reduced here, which is the fact saving of lot of capital, time, and management effort here also. Then what is back office process here? These processes are isolated from the customer's direct experience here. These processes are pretty much standardized and have least impact of the variability caused by the customer presence here. Some of such examples are shipping the order placed by customers online, food preparation in a restaurant, stacking the items on shelves in a supermarket, accounting and record keeping in a bank, etc. It has already been pointed out that the earlier that many back office processes are being shifted in front office. Some of the reasons, there are some reasons that justify such transition are as follows. The reasons are three here. It provides the economies of the scale, that means it reduces the cost. Then it reduces requirement of the intermediate response from the service provider. And third one, in case of investment required is a high per service facility, then in this case, moving from more and more operations in front office, the reduces the financial burden by the centralized infrastructure also here. There are some types of service process and customers interfaces here. Customer has varied experience according to the service process. In this respect, several types of interfaces exist that can be modified customers experiences also. And here are the service customers interfaces are as follows: face-to-face interaction, first one. Second is telephonic interaction. Third is e-service. Then there is next point of the importance of managing service in chain of process here. In general, slack in managing end-to-end process of chain of discrete events can lead to the emergence of insufficiencies, poor reliability of quality and lead time here. A very simple example is of catering here. If certain caterers is not able to manage the time delivery of supply of the fresh raw material, and the cooking delays will get delayed, and later dining, which will be eventually hamper reliability of the time service delivery here. It may lead to loss of customers and final losses here. Thus, if all process in this chain can be coordinated such that fresh raw material is delivered on time, well before time, the cooking will be done punctually, and dinner will be not be delayed here. Now, what is the nature of process here? There are some value of additional for the process here, variety of service provider. Then second point is runners here, repeaters, then strangers. Here types of process here. There are some types of process here. While commodity process are suited to the runners, high volume of consumer service like restaurant chains, then supermarkets, insurance services, etc. Then there is also process of the top right hand corner focus on the providing high volume of service capable of greater flexibility. Then there is some of the basic facilities but does not complete a range of services which are available as ticketing counter, but service provider online are sufficient enough for the customers to plan the journey as per convenience here. While when the service organization operates the simplicity area, it operates at low volume when economies of scales are not possible here. There is summary here. There you will find. Then there are some key points, key concepts here. Customization is the one. Second, labor intensive. Third, reliability. Then flexibility and commodity here. The next unit number 8 is here. That is of service people here. Here is in the introduction the tedious problem with the operational manager is to manage their people in every organization. There are two types of employees here. One is customer facing employees, also known as the frontline employees, and other back office employees here who work in the offices also here. Here there are some unit objectives. First one is understand the roles of service people, then service provider, understand management of motivating service providers, and to know management customers also here. Understanding the procedure, pressure of service provider here. Delivering the service is not easy task here. For some people, it is an enjoyable and rewarding task, but for some other, it is worst and daily struggle is there. Here is the organization pressure is there. The nature of the task is important as the sum of the tasks are stress fulfilled. And example surgeon here performing life-saving surgery is critical as small mistake leads to the serious consequences also. The process service designs the resources have an impact of the employees. For example, it is beyond here, consider service engineering is providing service from home which results reducing journey, but he miss out colleagues support. Likewise companies have also reception of visitors also assigned to work operate telephone switchboard. If the customer is on phone call and visitors come, it can create conflict with that whom gives preference here. Customer pressure. There are some pressures from the organizations, rewards and appraisals of the act of sources of pressures here. First is in high contact service. There is always pressure of customers and thus services providers cannot relax also. Second is every customer wants their service to be special and different from others, which create pressure on the service provider. Third is somewhat customers as per their experience with other service providers wants their services to be extraordinary, which is sometimes beyond the company design specification also. Next point is here's fourth point. Some customers have unrealistic demand service providers which make them difficult and creates pressure on them here. Moods of the customers is also a prime factor. Competence of customers may have a significant impact of the service providers also here. Frontline employees play variety of roles as they are on one who has to deal with the kind situations. They include order take, then advice giver, then image maker, and complaint handler, and therapist and trainer coach here also. And there is next point is also resultant issue of the service provider. If not managed well, the pressure from organization and customers results in problems. For example, here increased cost and poor service here. Motivation must be there. Sometimes we continually try to satisfy a group of people with the conflict demands. For something here, this seems to be all good as soon as the enthusiasm is pressed. We shall stop here.